the Order of Blood, officially the badge of honor of November 9th, 1923, was an honorary decoration of the NSDAP. Adolf Hitler founded the Order of Blood and the Golden Badge of Honor of the NSDAP to mark the 10th anniversary of the national uprising of November 9th, 1923. In the Federal Republic of Germany, the badge, as a Nazi propaganda tool, is considered a symbol of unconstitutional organizations within the meaning of Section 86A of the German Criminal Code, meaning that its production and public wearing or distribution are prohibited. Under National Socialism, official award requirements. The Order of Blood was awarded by Hitler in the first year of the NSDAP's seizure of power on November 9th, 1933. The swastika is depicted on it. The name Blood Order, which later became official, was based on that of the blood flag. It was aimed at the cult of honor surrounding the dead participants of the Hitler Putsch. Originally, the medal was only to be awarded to particularly deserving party members who had been politically active in the National Socialist cause for many years before the government took office on January 30th, 1933. In later years, the circle of recipients was greatly expanded. The names also varied. The medal was called, among other things, the Medal of Honor on Ribbon, or the Commemorative Medal for Active Fighters of the National Uprising of 1923. Actual awarding practice and recipients. In the Third Reich, recipients of the medal commemorating November 9th, 1923 were considered heroes of the movement or old fighters. Recipients can be roughly divided into 4 categories. Category 1. Originally, the Blood Order was only intended for participants in the Hitler Putsch on November 9th, 1923 in Munich, if it was clear that the recipient had been on the National Socialist side. Direct participation was also assumed if the recipient had been mobilized, but for various reasons had not directly participated in the fighting. The number of recipients in this first round of medal recipients was around 1,500. However, not all recipients in Category 1 were party members at the time. In fact, 34% of recipients belonged to a Freikorps. Only 50% of the recipients had actually been members of the NSDAP in 1923. For example, active soldiers were prohibited from participating in political meetings or becoming members of a political association or party under Section 36 of the Military Service Act. However, the majority of officers and officer cadets at the Reichswehr's Central Infantry School in Munich were close to the German Combat League. It was formed on the initiative of Adolf Hitler and Erich Ludendorff at the German Day on September 1st and 2nd, 1923, in Nuremberg, through the merger of the Oberland League with the Reich War Flag League under the leadership of the SA. This enabled the rebels to arrest the school commander on the evening of November 8th, 1923, and to recruit 20 regular officers and 80 officer cadets present as the Ludendorff Storm Column for the attempted coup. Later, the medal was also awarded to many participants in the Austrian July Putsch of 1934. Category 2, the old fighters, who were already members of the NSDAP before January 1st, 1932, and whose membership had continued uninterrupted until the date of award. A dormant membership due to military service did not matter. However, National Socialist convictions and character dignity were required. Category 3. From May 1938, the circle of medal recipients was extended to include party members who had been sentenced to death in the National Socialists' struggle for power in the state and were ultimately pardoned to life imprisonment. Finally, even party members who had only served a prison sentence of at least 1 year or had suffered a serious injury attributable to their political activities for National Socialism were awarded the medal. Category 4. In some cases, the award was made posthumously. The last person to be awarded the medal posthumously was Reinhard Heydrich on June 4th, 1942. If one of these conditions was met, The award could also be given to women in accordance with a decree of the Deputy Führer of March 27, 1941. However, awards to women remained the exception. Probably the best-known recipient of the Blood Order was Eleanor Bauer, known as Sister Pia. In November 1938, she was the only woman to be awarded the order, even before the decree of 1941. Little known, however, are the 15 other women who received the award by November 1942, all but one of whom came from Austria. One of these Austrian recipients of the Blood Order was Maria Theresia von Metnitz, an employee of the illegal Corinthian Gauleitung district leadership, who served 2 long prison sentences between 1934 and 1936, and was sentenced to another 3 years in prison in September 1946. Almost completely unknown is the midwife Ludmila Gaich from Stains, who was the only woman in Styria to be sentenced to prison by the military court in Graz in connection with the July Putsch. She received a 2-year prison sentence for attempted incitement to murder. When the award was presented at the end of 1933 to the Reich Governor of Brunswick and Anhalt, Wilhelm Löper, it was predicted abroad. Perhaps the time is not far off when he will be ashamed of this rare distinction. The Blood Order was only awarded at the request of the applicant himself or the responsible party official. Awards were published in the official gazette of the Reich leadership of the NSDAP. A total of around 4,000 medals were awarded by the end of the war. The medals were numbered on the back and their recipients were recorded in a register. From the NSDAP organization handbook award, the Führer awarded the Blood Order to those who actively participated in Munich on November 8th and 9th, 1923, provided they rejoined the NSDAP by December 31st, 1931. It is worn on the upper edge of the right upper coat pocket. The medal or ribbon is not worn on the coat. The Führer also decreed that the Blood Order shall now also be awarded to those party members who, in the Old Reich and in the Austrian provinces, in the struggle for the movement, A, were sentenced to death, then pardoned to life imprisonment. B, served prison sentences, including in Austrian detention camps, of at least 1 year. C, was seriously injured. The Blood Order remains in the family's possession after the death of the recipient. In addition to the Blood Order, all orders and decorations that are permitted to be worn by the Führer and the Reich government. Decorations of the National Socialist movement regarding paragraph 5, section 2 of the law. By order of the Führer and Reich Chancellor, the following decorations of the National Socialist movement may be worn. The Blood Order of November 9th, 1923, Adolf Hitler's gratitude. Decree of the Führer. To remedy or alleviate economic and health emergencies of deserving National Socialists, I hereby decree, as a token of gratitude and recognition, on April 20th, 1937. 1. From the funds of the National Socialist German Workers' Party, 500,000 Reichsmark shall be made available annually as the Adolf Hitler gratitude. 2. This amount will be used to support recipients of the movement's Medal of Honor, the Blood Order, and particularly deserving party members who find themselves in economic and health emergencies. 3. This amount will be distributed by the Reich Treasurer of the NSDAP according to social and economic circumstances. 4. The Reich Treasurer of the NSDAP will issue the implementing regulations. Munich, April 20th, 1937. Today, unconstitutional insignia. The Blood Order is one of those National Socialist honorary insignia that may not be worn in any form in the Federal Republic of Germany under the 1957 Law on Titles, Orders, and Honorary Insignia.